Mr. Senator, welcome to the program. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks, Stuart. Good morning. Nice to be with you.
What do you want to hear from the president? Do you want to hear his game plan for handling the November elections?
Well, that would be a good place to start. But I think that, a lot of our members are going to be interested in hearing about, kind of what's happening in the negotiations with North Korea, what's happening on the national or the international stage. Also, I think there's a lot of interest in our conference about the president's trade policies, both with respect to NAFTA and China trade, and the broader question of the economy, which since the president's taken office has really taken off. And so there's a lot of good news out there, but I think we'll have some members who want to hear a little bit more directly from the president about a couple of the issues that I mentioned.
Maybe the president will mention this tweet that he put out. Here's how it reads, Senator. The Senate should get funding done before the August break or not go home. Wall and border security should be included. Also waiting for approval of almost 300 nominations, worst in history. Senator, will you be prepared to stay through August to get funding for the wall if it comes to that?
Sure. I think our members are prepared to do whatever it takes to get some of these issues across the finish line, Stuart. And one thing that makes it really complicated, as you know, is that the Democrats are trying to do everything they can to throw roadblocks in the way of this president's agenda. And you mentioned in the president's tweet, he talked about nominations, and that's a good example. Literally, if you look at the last 6 presidencies combined, the number of times that cloture has been filed is 24. Under this president, it's now over 90. So you take the last 6 presidencies combined and compare it to what they're doing to this president. What that means is the obstruction tactics, the delay tactics are making it extremely difficult for the president to get his nominees in place and for us as senators to do our job as part of the confirmation process, and they can use the rules to their advantage. And so that if we have to stay here through the month of August to get some of those across the finish line, to get money for the wall and address other issues that are related to border security, so be it.
Real fast, Mr. Senator, if he said to you, the Senate, get rid of the filibuster, just make it a straight 51-vote rule for everything, what would you say?
I would say I'm open to not entirely doing away with it on legislation, but there are some issues, these executive nominations, for example, we should change the rules. The Democrats shouldn't be able to drag this out and require 30 hours of post-cloture debate on nominees that are going to get 90 votes when they get to a vote. That is simply a dilatory tactic. I would argue that we could probably do away with the 60-vote threshold on the motion to proceed to appropriation bills. The Democrats have been masters at blocking every single appropriation bill that comes up on the floor of the Senate. If we could get on those bills, open up the amendment process, I think we might be able to get some final votes. So I'm not in favor of doing away with the 60-vote threshold on all legislation, but there are some areas where I think we can make this place work a lot smoother. And I think the president is right to ask Congress and the Senate to make some changes, particularly with regard to nominations. This is obnoxious.
Senator John Thune, Republican, South Dakota, thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you, sir. Yep.